In this video today, I'm going to do a deep dive on the Superior Wilderness Designs Big Wild 70-liter backpack. Why on earth would I buy a 70-liter backpack for my backpacking when very often I'm able to do a weekend trip out of a 40-liter size pack? Well, let me explain myself here. This is a pack that is fitting a very specific need that I have for my backpacking and some of the experiences that I want to have in the backcountry as I progress in my backpacking a bit. And this is actually a highly requested video for me to make after some of you found out that I had bought this backpack, and there's not a lot of information on it here on YouTube. So the first question I want to answer here is, why did I buy the Big Wild 70? Why did I need a 70-liter size backpack? Well, it comes down to about a year ago when I bought the pack. I needed something that was going to be a good application to carry all of my pack rafting gear. I am getting more involved in the pack rafting side of backpacking to add just a different style of how I explore the backcountry and spend time in the backcountry, to involve some water sport, but also be able to carry those items, get to a river, get to a lake, and then be able to spend time on the water that way. And a pack needs to be able to carry all of that bulky gear. You can see I'm kitted out here with all of my pack rafting gear, where I've got my paddle, my PFD, and my boat inside of the backpack. So the Big Wild 70 is purpose built to be a load hauling backpack that is specific for winter backpacking, for pack rafting, and just carrying heavier loads of gear. This pack is designed to carry as much as 65 pounds of gear and be comfortable in that process as well. Now that is a lot of weight to carry on your back, but I've had as much as like 45 pounds of gear in the pack through the winter trips that I've taken it out on so far, and it is a comfortable pack. Now the cost for the Big Wild 70 starts at $399 USD, which is a pretty substantial amount of money to spend on a backpack, but this is a very high quality backpack that has a lot of attention to detail, very high quality construction and seams and sewing. So I want to focus first on the frame system, the suspension of the backpack, and what that design looks like, because it is a little different than what you might see from some other like really ultralight packs or even just traditional backpacks. So if you look at the hip belt here first, what you have is a fully floating hip belt that is also completely removable from the pack. And that's important because it provides, again, some modularity and the ability for this to actually break down a little bit so that you can fit it into the tubes of a pack raft and be able to carry your pack that way inside of your boat. But the ability for this to be fully wrapped around your waist and then connected directly to the aluminum stays in the pack makes it able to carry that weight really well. It transfers all of that load to the hip belt. And what's nice about this as well is you actually have torso adjustment through the hip belt, through a couple different loops, as much as 3 inches of height adjustment on that torso. So that's not happening on the shoulder straps, rather it's happening on the hip belt. This is a very comfortable pack to wear because that hip belt does wrap all the way around your waist. There's no gaps or anything, and you're able to adjust that tension really well, because here on the hip belt, you have 2 different adjustments to be able to really fine tune how you want this to fit on your hips. So it's not just a big wide strap and you tighten it and then it's just kind of not awesome. This gives you the ability to be a lot more fine-tuning in the adjustment and fit of the hip belt around your waist, which is really, really nice. But then you also have this piece of ultra stretch mesh here that has a removable piece of foam behind it that provides more comfort, but by removing that, I have a little sit pad that's like basically integrated into the backpack, and that's a nice little detail there. Then here on the shoulder straps, these are shaped really well. They're a nice thick piece of foam as well, which is very comfortable and enjoyable. And then the frame height is also something important to point out. The frame does not end like down low where the shoulder straps are sewn in. It comes up pretty high above the shoulder straps, which actually aids in a lot of load transfer going down through the shoulder straps into the frame system and through the hip belt to make it carry that weight a lot better. So a high frame is nice, and then these load lifters that also are obviously for that load transfer as well, but they have these adjustable sliders here that give you the ability to really fine tune exactly where that needs to be based off of your torso length and such, so that you can get, again, the best fit possible from the pack. It's just a really, really well designed suspension and frame system that absolutely carries weight in a very, very nice way and does it comfortably. Like I said, I've had 45 pounds of gear in here, and it is kind of a dream to have that much weight on your hips and on your shoulders and not feel like it is just completely collapsing on itself or not able to carry that weight. It is truly really, really well done. Now, there's obviously a lot more going on with this pack than just the ability for it to carry heavy loads of weight. What you have is a pack that gives you the option to pretty much carry and strap to the pack whatever you want for whatever activity you might be doing. Like I've got here, all of my pack rafting gear with my paddle and my PFD are very easily strapped to the outside of the pack. But I've even, from a winter standpoint, had my snowshoes into the side pockets and easily connected to be able to remove them as necessary when I'm going to be putting them on to be in deeper snow, or just a shovel or other things that make it very modular, because you have all of these removable webbing straps that allow for compression, for you to attach accessories, for you to pretty much do whatever you want. There are so many different little webbing loops and attachment points for you to do exactly what you need in connecting stuff to the pack. So here on the front of the pack, I've actually got a accessory piece, which is a removable front pocket that is basically the same thing you would see on like a traditional ultralight pack, where you have that stretchy mesh pocket on the front, but this is removable. And because I've got these webbing straps, I have a lot of adjustment and ability to move these around to where I want them, to make it so that in this case I can put my PFD right in between that and then still have some storage on the front of the pack in there for water filter or whatever things I would normally put in there, and not have to get into the pack that way. But if I want to, I can completely remove this from the backpack. But they're very simple little plastic clips that kind of work in a way like a carabiner. But there's all the extra straps that I purchased with the pack for me to just do whatever I want with it. But that removable pocket comes off all the way. And now I've got all of these additional attachment points that make it so that I could take one of these straps, clip it onto the loop there. But then like I could do another one, and I can slide things in there that need to be in that for whatever activity I'm doing. I just have so much function in attaching things to the pack in whatever way I would need to do it. There are loops in pretty much every place that you would need them, and the ability to compress the pack as high as you want or as low as you want, and give you the functionality to be able to do whatever you want with the pack for whatever activity you're going to be using it for. Now, the pack is also a roll top design pack that has a single strap that comes over the top, and the strap for the top is also very, very long. This is definitely able to accommodate a bear canister or a like foam pad, whatever you would attach to it. But then your roll top is also very wide and opens up into a really, really big space. This also has a piece of plastic that goes through the top of the roll top part of the pack that makes it rigid and really easy to roll down and get it nice and tight, compress it, and do it without having to fuss of it also coming apart and such. The other really nice thing is this pack is super, super strong with its construction. All of these attachment points are attached at a seam that is a flat felled seam. That seam makes it possible for you to get really, really strong points of contact, so that when you are putting a lot of tension on these webbing points, you're not taking the risk of them ripping out of the seam and creating a problem that way. And then your side pockets of the pack here are oversized and just provide plenty of space for you to get a lot of gear in there, with the idea that you're going to be strapping more than just water bottles to the side of the pack. Like I've got my paddle here, or snowshoes, or just other things that would need to go into that are bulkier, that you're not going to want inside of the pack. So I've got my paddle here with a water bottle that very easily I could get a second water bottle if necessary. And it all fits really, really well, and it's not so tight that it's impossible for you to get that bottle out. But I also appreciate the fact that for a fairly large pack like this, I can still access the bottle really easy with the pack on, get the bottle out, put it back in without having to take the pack off. So after a bit of use for the last few months through the winter, are there any negatives that I have with the pack and cons that just stand out with the use of it? And to be totally honest, there's not anything that is like super glaring, big, huge negatives that I need to talk about so far with my use of the pack. There are a couple like nitpicky things that I would change if I could, and one of those has to do with the sternum strap. I don't like the way that the sternum strap adjusts. It's not very quick to do it, and with the double-sided buckle, I like having just one side be the adjustment, and then having a little piece of elastic that allows for you to breathe a bit more with the sternum strap, as opposed to it being kind of a static piece of webbing. That is something that is very personal preference. It does not change like the complete experience with the pack, but if I could choose one thing to change, the sternum strap would be that. Now the pack also does not come with any hip belt pockets. You do have to add those onto the pack, like I've done here with one of my old Waymark hip belt pockets that very easily went to the hip belt, but you would need to purchase that additionally. And I would like to see at least one hip belt pocket included with the cost of the backpack at $400, but I get why people may not want that as part of the entire kit when they purchase the pack. Outside of that, I really don't have anything big, negative, scary, like issues that have come up with the use of it so far. Maybe that will change as I spend more time with it this year and use it for several different activities, like my pack rafting, and then more winter trips, or just some other types of trips that I do with the pack. But this thing is pretty stinking cool. It is very well constructed. It's very well designed. The attention to detail is amazing, and I just am really loving this pack. And I would absolutely recommend it if you are in the market for a pack that is going to carry weight, that's going to do just more of those specialty kind of things where you need to attach more bulky gear to the outside of the pack and just have that modularity and that functionality out of a backpack instead of being a bit more stripped down. It's also quite lightweight at about 2.5 pounds for its total weight. When you add some of the additional accessories, it's just awesome. So I'm really pleased with it. We'll spend more time with it through 2025. We'll do a longer term review at that point, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments of the Big Wild 70. I appreciate you watching today. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you know what to do. Hope you have an awesome day. We'll catch you on the next one. See you later.